Welcome back to another walkthrough guide on how to set up your TP-Link AC3200 router for your Simply Broadband connection. In this video specifically, we'll be going over QoS or quality of service and firewall settings. And so first things first, we're going to open up our browser. We're going to head to that web address and we're going to go 192.168.0.1. Then we're going to click enter. And as you can see, it's prompting me to sign in with my admin credentials. So we're just going to go do that. And you'll be greeted on the network map of your basic page. And so what we're going to do is we're going to head over to advanced. And then we're going to scroll down on the left-hand side and we're going to actually go into bandwidth control. So this router specifically doesn't actually have a QoS tab or anything like that, but bandwidth control here, this is how you would basically control that, your QoS. This is basically your QoS. So here, as you can see, we can enable that. So then we can set our total upstream bandwidth and our total downstream bandwidth that is running through the WAN port. And then that would obviously, it would compare your real world values to your theoretical values. And then, yeah. So obviously you can control your rules here, so you just add them in here and you fill all of this out. So your IP range, port range, what protocol it uses, the priority. 1 means obviously the highest priority here and 8 is the lowest. And then again, you can enter your upstream and downstream data requirements. Then we can enable. You press OK and it'll save it in this list. We're not going to do that for now. And just make sure if you've edited anything on this page, you click save. And so if you're wanting a little bit more information on bandwidth control here, you can actually click this question mark and it'll come up with, you know, a little help bubble that you can check on things. So displays the minimum and maximum upload bandwidth in kilobytes per second. And so if you want more information, head over to there. Next up, we're going to head over to security, and then once you click on security, it'll open settings straight away. And as you can see here, our SPI firewall is on. We don't recommend playing around with any of these settings, or for that matter in the bandwidth control either, just because all these settings, you know, should be altered freely by somebody with a bit of networking experience and networking knowledge, so you don't accidentally make any issues for yourself later on. But as you can see here, the firewall's already on. DOS protection is off by default. You can switch that on if you want. You can set the priority levels of these attack filterings. We're not going to change anything here, as I said. And then of course you've got your blocked DOS host list here. So if anything tries to DOS you there, it'll get blocked once that's active and it'll list it down here. And again, if you change anything over here, click save. Awesome. Also as well, just the same as the bandwidth control, if you just click this question mark, it'll give you some information regarding the settings of your security. And so next, we're going to go to access control. As you can see, access control by default is turned on, and it's also in blacklist mode. So you have two options, blacklist or whitelist. So blacklist is something that you'd set and it'll block any of the listed connections and it won't allow them access pretty much. Whereas whitelist is the opposite and it is actually allowing those connections. And as you can see here, we have our device blacklist. If we click whitelist, it'll switch to device in whitelist. So, and then further down, as you can see, devices online, and we have my computer here. Awesome, moving on, we have IP and MAC binding. You really won't need to play around with this at all, but you can turn it on here. You need more information, click there. What it does is it basically stops other people on your network from having the same MAC address as you. That is a very brief, you know, overview, but we don't recommend touching anything down here, as it can bottleneck your speeds. It can really lead to issues down the track. So we just leave all of these ones at default. But that is how you can alter your bandwidth control and your security settings and firewall settings in your router. Thank you.
Hello there.
What the hell?